Well, hello, my lovelies. It's Murky Meg here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 5th of December. Woohoo! It's December! My favourite time of the year. Apologies, I promise to never sing again. Well, a lot has happened since I last talked to you, and I'm going to do a video today and I'm going to do a video tomorrow. But today's video, I'm going to talk about this man. Now, he is quite important at the moment. His name is Bob Seely, and he's a British Member of Parliament here, which means that he's part of the Conservative government that are in power at the moment, for now. But he has a very important mission over. I'm a bit wishy-washy on the old time dates, and apparently so is he. But he has done an article in the Daily Mail that says, in the next couple of weeks, I shall present a bill in Parliament to strip the Duke and Duchess of Sussex of their titles. Now, we all know that when Harry and Meghan were married, the late Queen Elizabeth II gave them the titles of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex as a wedding present. Now, while they were part of the working royal family, their titles stood firm. Absolutely. When they left, that's where it's on shaky ground. Now, a lot of people since Brexit, and especially now, since everything that has happened over the last couple of years has accumulated in a huge amount of negative energy surrounding Harry and Meghan, especially in the UK. And it transpires after the newly risen attacks against the royal family, predominantly Charles and Catherine. More and more people are getting angrier and angrier that Harry and Meghan retain their titles and benefit from them monetary-wise, because, without the titles, they're nothing. They're just Mr. and Mrs. They're not even Mr. and Mrs. Sussex. Now, bear in mind that the Queen couldn't, Charles can't, revoke their titles. Only an Act of Parliament can revoke them. And this is why Mr. Bob Seely, MP, is getting a lot of traction right now. He said, I'm not a Republican and support the monarchy, but after the last instalment of the couple's feud with the rest of the royal family, I believe that Parliament and the Privy Council should consider a nuclear option. For those that don't know, the Privy Council, its main function is to advise the monarch on giving formal effect to proclamations and orders in council, legal instructions which are made under prerogative or statutory powers. Now, Privy Council members include Cabinet members. Now, Cabinet is our Parliament. It's our government. Past and present, the Speaker, the leaders of the main political parties, archbishops, various senior judges, as well as other senior public figures. So it is separate to government. Yes, it has some government officials in it, but they are there to advise the king as well as the government. Incidentally, it was Pengate that he was at. He was at the Privy Council when Pengate happened. I was so angry when he got a stick for that, because he's just lost his mother. He's just been crowned as monarch, and he just had a little bit of a moment, like we all do. Anyway, that was the Privy Council. He was brought in front of the Privy Council. Going back to Bob Seely, what is the nuclear option, I hear you ask? Well, Mr. Seely wants the Duke and Duchess to be referred to Mr. and Mrs. like the rest of us. And he's putting a bill towards Parliament in the next couple of weeks, which is called the Titles Deprivation Act 1917 Act Amendment Bill, would allow a vote in Parliament to advise the ancient advisory Privy Council to strip a member of the royal family of their titles. Bob Seely says his aim is simple. If someone doesn't want to be royal, that is a decision we respect, but they should not keep their titles and privileges if they trash an institution that plays an important part in our nation's life. And this is the interesting bit about Bob Seely's article. Remember, Bob Seely, MP, wrote this. He says, I feel genuine pity for Harry and the life choices that he has made. Can't have been easy for him, but the couple and their supporters, yes, that's right, an MP has called out the Sussex squad, have a track record of attacking the royal family with unproven and incendiary allegation, which they then appear to deny or refuse to back up, which is indefensible. He continues, it is time for us to move on. I believe it is time they dropped their titles or were made to and lived by their own talents if they have any to speak of. And by all accounts, Bob Seely is well supported with the British public. However, and there is a massive however, this won't get anywhere near Parliament or the Privy Council. It just won't get passed. I believe that there is zero chance of the Sussexes being stripped of their titles. And there's even little chance of them denouncing them. A lot was celebrated when the announcement by Bob Seely was made that he was going to bring this request to Parliament. A lot of joyous, yes, thank God, yes, it's needed. But unfortunately, it just won't go anywhere. And that's not just my opinion, but it seems to be the general consensus all round. It's needed, but unfortunately it will not happen. But there's one shining grace in this. Shining grace? Saving grace. Saving grace. Sorry, saving grace. It's happening. At least something is being discussed in Parliament. And that is a step in the right direction. Another step in the right direction would be to remove them from the royal family's website altogether. And there are rumours in the pipeline that that is in fact what's going to happen. Whether that's going to happen or will happen, only time will tell. But rumours are often not just rumours. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I've heard it on good authority that an update of the website is coming very soon. Whether or not that's tittle-tattle, I just don't know. However, what would happen if their titles were removed? Well, they'll just be Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor, wouldn't they? Simples. Sussexes would fall back into just the abyss, and they would just be Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor. You're never going to remove Harry from the line of succession at all, because that just doesn't happen. But at least this is being discussed in the British Parliament. And of course, the King will be informed of this. Now, I do wonder whether or not Bob Seely knows something that we don't. Does he have backing from other MPs, or is he just the lone vigil man there standing, telling government what the people of the UK have been crying out for them to do? I still find it baffling that Harry is still a Councillor of State, which means that should the King not be present, then he can act on behalf of the King. It's easier to add people to the Councillors of State than it is to remove them, which is why Anne and Edward have also been added. That was last year, which means that even if the King was incapacitated or not able to do his royal duties, a lot more people could step up to the plate before Harry was ever given that lancet. I'd just like to reiterate what Bob Seely has said and what he will say in Parliament. If someone doesn't want to be royal, that is a decision we respect, but they should not keep the titles and privileges if they trash an institution that plays an important part in our nation's life. And a lot of people are saying exactly what I have said. Before the titles can be removed, they need to be removed from the website. That is a way that the royal family can distance themselves without really doing anything. It's a bold statement. Do you think that the royal family will remove Harry and Meghan from their website? The fact that the Times, which is the most reputable newspaper in the UK, it's the paper that the politicians and movers and shakers read, have also called for them to be stripped of their titles. That is something quite considerable. They released an article, says the Times review on the Sussexes, entitled, they say that they persist in not only clinging on to their noble titles, but using those titles freely and frequently when pursuing commercial gain and influence. Moreover, the Times continues, they have ostentatiously styled their young son and daughter as Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet respectively. This self-serving attachment to the trappings of a family and an institution which they have otherwise rejected and continue to trash is hypocritical and distasteful. If the Sussexes had any shame, they would decide to be the Sussexes no longer. As it is, there are 30 dukes in the peerages of Britain and Ireland. King Charles would not be blamed if he acted to reduce that number to 29. Also, Piers Morgan, I know he's not a mover and a shaker, but he's very opinionated and he has a very loud voice, also did a piece yesterday in the New York Post saying it's time to strip the race-baiting hypocrites Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. Incidentally, Endgame has slipped out of the Amazon charts. It's now lower than 100. Karma. I'm going to be doing another follow-up video to Endgame tomorrow, and I will be discussing the fallout and everything that's happened, because a lot has shifted since my previous video. I'm also going to do a live on Sunday, I think. I just need to find out what the best time for everybody is, because obviously I am on UK, but I know a lot of my listeners are based all around the world, so I'm trying to find the best time to do a live on Sunday. I don't want to do it too early because then that will give you, people may miss it. I don't want to do it too late because I won't be able to give you my full attention because I go to bed early. Now, the royal family supposedly gave Harry and Meghan a chance to give back their titles and they didn't take it. Of course they didn't take it. That's where the money's to be made. Without being Duke and Duchess, then there's no gravitas, is there? I also find it slightly hypocritical that her fans are in absolute meltdown over the fact that this is going to be raised, and although there is only a slim chance, it's a chance, but they scream and shout about how horrid the royal family is, but they don't want Harry and Meghan to lose those precious titles which attach them to said horrid family. So, do you think that this bill, which is being titled the nuclear solution or nuclear option, should be done and could be done and will be done? Or do you just think it's one MP standing up going, actually, this is how I feel, what do you all think? Do you think anybody will stand behind Bob Seeley and say, I agree? Or, as they say in Parliament, hear, hear. Now, what happens if they lose their titles? Slim chance, I know, but they will just be known as Mr. and Mrs. Harry will still be a prince, and Meghan will be known as Princess Henry. She will not be allowed to be called Princess Meghan. She will be called Princess Henry, because Henry is Harry's real name, if you didn't already know. I'd also like to know that within that Times article I referenced earlier, they also think the attack was sanctioned by Harry and Meghan. So the Times are calling BS too. But as I said, I will talk about that in tomorrow's video because so much has shifted that Omid Scooby's turned out to be a liar, pants on fire. Now, let's have a hypothetical. Shall we say that this bill is presented to Parliament and the MPs all go, the King would still have to sign off on it. And I don't think that's something that's going to happen, quite frankly, because it's been quite obvious that he will not do anything like that to his son at all. He will not abandon Harry like that, because I personally believe he's scared of the backlash. And if he actually listens to the nation and possibly the rest of the world that actually have brain cells, he would understand that this is a very logical solution to end all of this drama right here and now. Strip them is what I say. It's not going to happen, and I don't think it will ever happen, but strip them of their titles. Also, speaking of titles and royal family, Harry's court case is coming to the UK today. Yes, he's suing the Home Office. It's starting today. Rumours are, is he in the country? Is he not? This is all with regards to security, suing the Home Office to make sure that he gets what he wants, and that is to be protected by the Royal Protection Officers. That's the people that are allowed to carry guns to protect the royals. It's a closed court, which means that we are extremely limited on what information that we will receive about it, due to it being an act of security. Harry's personal security, of course. Will he be in the UK? No, doubtful. I think he will zoom in. I don't actually believe he will be there in court. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's in the UK right now at all. I don't think he'll be at court today. Sidebar, it's later in the day. He wasn't. He's still in California or wherever he may be. And for those people that called for a pap shot, a lot of polls were taken on social media about when Meghan will pop up and do a pap walk. Well, it's happened. She's been spotted looking like the cat that got the cream. I believe that's what's called Duper's Delight. Now, for just anybody who doesn't know what Duper's Delight is, it is a delight is an emotional boost or a thrill that some people get when they successfully cheat or deceive another person or an organisation. Yeah, she's done a pap walk in a car park. Oh, so original. And it's been caught by Backgrid, of course. Dial-a-pap. She was seen on Monday in Santa Barbara, looking apparently relaxed and carefree. My next video might make her feel not so relaxed and or carefree because I have direct links between her and Omid. Yes, that's right, it's one not to miss. I will see you tomorrow, but in the meantime I would love to know your thoughts. Do you think this bill will get any traction whatsoever, or do you just think it's one lonely MP saying what everybody else thinks, but that, as normal, Parliament will completely ignore it? As always, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.